Please stand for the pledge.
Justice for all.
Cecily, roll call, please.
Counselor Augsburger.
Here.
Counselor Bronson.
Here.
Counselor Hagee.
Here.
Counselor Richards.
Here.
Counselor Sanchez. President Pro Tem Thorstad.
Here.
Mayor Coleman.
Present. Let the record show that there are 6 present and 1 absent. We are opening up a work session regarding goal setting, and I'm going to let staff take it away from here.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for coming to the work session, and also thanks for all the hard work a couple of weeks ago with the goal setting. What staff did is, you probably already saw the memo, but I'll go through it anyway, item by item, just in case you have any questions. But we have some recommendations. And so I'll start it off under desirable community. We have the Weddell Bridge restoration. So staff has been working through the state process, as you're probably aware of the historic redesignation of the Weddell Bridge. And the determination for that is anticipated sometime this year. $250,000 is dedicated to the Weddell Bridge restoration in this current budget, which is anticipated to carry over. Staff consulted with an engineer from Lynn County Road Department who utilized costs related to rehab of the Shimanak Covered Bridge in Scio, removing many of the costs associated with ensuring that particular bridge could be used for vehicles. Lynn County estimated that the Weddell Bridge restoration to be approximately $340,000, and that was in 2022 dollars. Lynn County also estimated that a load rating, which is needed prior to any work, would cost about $15,000, and staff hasn't been able to identify an engineering firm available to perform the load rating, but continue to contact companies and departments throughout the state. So once rehabilitation can proceed, the bridge's location over Ames Creek will likely lead to higher permitting costs through the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, which has not been estimated to date. And so staff recommends the adoption of this goal. Continue to work on it. The Mountain View pedestrian improvements, as you are aware, we received a grant through ODOT to support upgrades on Mountain View near the junior high. As was communicated last time, the project did face some challenges due to improper scope and estimating. The city and ODOT collaborated to rescope the project, and ODOT identified additional funding to preserve the most critical components of the scope and formalize the project through the State Improvement Program. And so this will be a multi-year effort with engineering anticipated to begin later this year. And so staff would recommend the adoption of this goal. Walk and bike trails. Staff has tentatively proposed development of formal trail plan in fiscal year 29 and 30 as part of the 5-year capital improvement plan. We are looking at trail development opportunities in multiple locations in the coming fiscal year, including Quarry Park and adjacent to City Hall, but no formal plans have been adopted and funding has not been confirmed. And for this one, staff does not recommend adoption of this goal without some further clarification. Under park projects, so as you are aware, this particular item had several sub-items, including quarry, strawberry, north side, racquetball, and tennis. Significant park developments at Strawberry and North Side will likely need support of grant funding, which has not yet been secured. Development and or restoration of sports facilities will also likely need funding support. Regarding Quarry Park, this is interesting. Staff has recently met with a rep from Disc Golf Park to discuss development of professional level disc golf course. Staff received the initial feasibility assessment on February 27th of this year and are in discussions with Disc Golf Park on potential next step and costs. And so staff would recommend an adoption of a goal related to further develop the future use of Quarry Park through potential under the economic strength category. So overall, staff doesn't recommend adoption of the other components of this goal without some further clarification, and we seek direction on narrower priorities to focus funding efforts. Under efficient government, we have review council rules. So staff has organized multiple work sessions regarding council rules in the past 3 years, resulting in no recommended changes or further direction from council. Staff recommend adoption of this goal and seek some direction on priority areas for discussion in order to plan for a productive work session. Old City Hall, the RFP for demolition of that location is currently open and pending results of a hazardous material survey, which is anticipated to be conducted this March. And so staff will return to council with the results of the RFP once it is finalized. And so we recommend the adoption of that goal. Infrastructure. Willow Yucca LID. So we're currently waiting on results of an engineering change order to account for drainage concerns at that location. So once those are received, we'll reassess the funding structure of the LID and develop recommendations for any cost overruns from the original scope and then present that to council. So staff recommends the adoption of that goal. The wastewater treatment plant. As you're well aware, we finalized the 23 audit and we are anticipating seeking some updated credit rating at this time, but was notified that a fully updated credit rating is required to close the WIFIA loan, which will require 24 and 25 audits first. So staff recommends the adoption of this goal. Under essential services, complete audits, revised cost of wastewater treatment plant. We recommend the adoption of this goal in conjunction with the wastewater treatment plant item above. The water treatment plant generator installation, staff was recently notified that the EDA grant received for the generator would be reclassified under non-construction to construction. So it just triggers us to do some more work. So we're doing that work and working through those new requirements for that. And so staff recommends adoption of that goal. The Canyon Creek Pump Station, the scope of that project is to install a booster station on Timber Street, which would resolve recurring issues with low water pressure in the Canyon Creek area. And so the project cost is estimated at about $350,000. And is proposed for the coming fiscal year in the CIP, and staff would recommend the adoption of that goal. Under economic strength, Old City Hall, staff recommended the adoption of that goal under efficient government. Sanium Feed Store, we're continuing to work with an interested lessee who is in the process of determining their financing, and staff hopes to receive a proposal for council later this calendar year. And so we would recommend the adoption of this goal. Quarry Park, obviously we recommended that and moved under desirable community. Fund SEEP. That program was placed on hold in 2024, if you recall, for due to a low fund balance in the Economic Development Fund. The 23 audit shows that there may be a larger fund balance available, and staff anticipates proposing a phased-in revival of the program in the coming fiscal year. And so we would recommend the adoption of that goal. So that is what staff recommends in the memo, and we will hand it over to council for any questions or some discussion on your part.
So council, there are a few items where staff has requested either further guidance or clarification. And yeah, whatever you guys would like to discuss regarding these goals, feel free to do so.
Question on the audits, our financial audits for the years. Could you explain that a little bit so everyone fully understands how we got there, where we're at, and when it would be completed? I believe we have 2 years we're working on.
So the audits have been caught up all the way through 23. And so the reason that we need to get 24 and 25 audits done is because in order to apply for the WIFIA loan, we want to get the best credit rating possible. And so they're essentially saying, hey, we've talked to them recently. They're saying, hey, if you want the best credit rating possible, you just need to complete your audits and get them caught up. And so are we hoping that that's going to be done by the end of this year for 24 and 25? So yeah, we're pretty confident that they're going to be done at the end of this year. And it sounds like 24 is already going fairly quickly compared to the previous years.
So at the end of calendar year, December 2026.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from counselors? Comments count too, since it's a work session. You can just freely talk.
Yeah, I have a question for the north side. I know the Parks Committee talked about resurfacing the tennis court, racquetball, and stuff like that. Do we know any information of what that might look like for cost?
We would have to look into that. I don't at this time, but that's something that we definitely could look into
Yeah.
if that was a priority.
I know I've had people reach out and just with the tennis court, I'm asking about possibly doing 2 pickleball courts also or stuff something like that. It looks like it's pretty rough shape last time I was down there, just as far as the lines and the actual. But I know the racquetball club too. I think the floor in there is pretty dated. But yeah, I'd like to see those things as priorities. There'd be some quick wins if we can get them funded, and have a place for people to go and be outside. I know pickleball is getting really popular, and it's more than tennis, but
I like the idea of evaluating those things. Do we know if any pickleball was mentioned in our Parks Master Plan that was recently adopted?
It was, yes.
Was it mentioned at Northside?
I don't know if it was mentioned specifically to a park location, but just in general, it
Just
was a
in general?
priority. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's already in our master plan, which means the council's already voted on that, which means we're more likely to get grants. So I would think that we could add that or add that clarification to that, as long as other counselors are okay with that.
Well, I support that, but I'd like to see it broke out in the pieces, like how much is it going to cost, just like to resurface the tennis court and make it into a dual purpose court. Like we could use it for a full tennis court or 2 pickleball courts. And in the racquetball courts, what are the steps it's going to take? We get to replace the floor. We get to, just repaint the inside. So we could see how much it's going to cost for each one of those bites, as we look at it. So thank you.
Councilor Hagee, as far as the racquetball court, are the floors in there the main thing that you've heard
the
need
floor
attention?
and the wall, so the wall it's got a couple layers of paint. Over the years, it looks like it's kind of been worn and chipped. And if you ever played racquetball, hitting against a unflat surface isn't ideal. But there's also other sports. I know a group of guys play. It's called volleyball. It's like volleyball, but they just put a net up. I know we'd get some activity there from people doing that. Racquetball court in Lebanon also has a place where you can just attach a rim inside. I'm not sure if that's something we'd want to do, but then you can actually just play basketball inside. If they're paying for the membership, just go shoot hoops under a covered area would be nice too. So
I really like your ideas there, Councilor Hagee. Thanks for sharing those.
Yeah, I like that versatility idea with the racquetball court. So we can, 2, 3 different various uses and, maybe just a little more to adapt it so we could do that. So.
And draw people in and be another highlight in the community. So any other counselors interested in adding that? Since that's 3, we would need a consensus.
I'm in.
I am as well.
No.
So we have 5 that are interested in evaluating that, so, yeah. Any other comments or questions, clarifications?
Madam Mayor, for the council rules, I think that was before our term started. I know there's been obviously a couple. Are there certain things that people want to reevaluate with those rules? I mean, that seems like it should be a pretty easy one to set a meeting and kind of go over everything again and reevaluate. I don't know.
I was in support of that one since we revisited the charter just to make sure that everything was still in alignment. But I agree with you. It was before we took office, but it was, I feel like just revisiting to make sure alignment.
And just, City Attorney Larson had brought up that if the charter amendments do go through, there are some triggers in those changes where we would have to revise council rules. So whether this is adopted as a goal or not, we will be having that conversation.
Thank you for that clarification.
So a point of clarification. So once the charter has been okayed by the public, in a vote, then we can address it. There's no sense even looking at it until we hit that step.
So there are some items we can consider at any time, and then there are other items that you could certainly change now regardless of charter change. But again, if it's approved by voters, there are some mandatory things to look at.
Well,
So yes, we can
I think
certainly
that would be
wait.
the best time to look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
We can.
be more efficient. Thank you.
I support that to wait instead of having multiple. I support that.
Sounds good to me too. So there's some more clarification for staff. Is that helpful? Great. Any other clarification on other goals that were recommended or not recommended?
I have a question about the old feed store. You said by the end of the calendar year, is that just to hear if they're for certain interested, or is it like this is what we would like?
They are for certain interested. They are currently working through their taxes with their tax person, and the conversations that I've been having, they're all in.
Okay.
So
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions from counselors?
The goal for the Quarry Park, just like updates and disc golf. I'm pretty excited about that, just what it might lead to. I don't see it down at the very bottom of the summary. Should it be under one of those?
Yes, sorry about that. I think because we had it in 2 categories and then
Yeah,
I put it
instead
in
of
there.
saying, okay,
So
here's
it
the
would
thing.
go under desirable community.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any other goals that the council would like to evaluate or any conversations surrounding goals? It is the council's duty to look to the vision for the future of Sweet Home and see what we can implement in regards to policy to benefit our community. So any thoughts that you guys have? Oh. Hearing none, do we have a consensus with the change of adding Quarry Park to desirable community? Do we have a consensus for the ones that are listed? And also the clarification of adding Northside's Park improvements to those goals? So on that list, there would be 2 changes. Quarry Park under desirable community and also Northside Park with evaluating some potential improvements.
So moved.
No motions right now, just a consensus, yes or no. So, okay. Good.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
I agree.
Great.
I agree.
Yep, we have a consensus to have those goals be the ones that get presented to council for a vote with those edits. Great. Thank you so much, staff, for your time and the update on all of those projects. And we will close this work session out at 5:50.